on, because he is helping some wonderful furry four-foots in our lives. Welcome, Angelo Chimicella. He is joining us. He's the Treetop cat rescuer. Thank you for coming in today. You're definitely not dressed in your gear to climb those trees right now. You look wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you for what you're doing. So did it start just about a year ago or so, in 2023?
Probably about a year.
And you had seen there was a large amount through, was it Facebook, for people needing help with cats being stuck?
Well, starting off, I worked for a couple of different tree services, and I noticed that they would get calls to get, they would get a call that there was a cat in a tree, and they would, a lot of times, wouldn't have a climber available or just wouldn't be able to do it, and they would pass. And a lot of times I would say, hey, give me their phone number, I'll stop there on my way home. And just eventually it got to the point where one call turned into two, and then it just kind of domino affected. I realized that there's an actual kind of a need for it, because there's a lot of cats in trees. I get 2 to 3 calls a day sometimes.
I was good. Look, we're looking at these pictures. You are so high up there and on branches that seem like they would snap underneath of you. You clearly have a love of animals and cats to be willing to risk your life to do this on a regular basis.
Yeah. Funny thing is, I really am afraid of heights.
Are you kidding me?
No, I kid you not. I can't sing and dance, so this is what it is. But I can't tell you how many times I'll go up there after him, and the cat will keep climbing higher and climbing higher.
Yes.
And then eventually I get to a point where I realize I would never have climbed out this far on a branch. Like if I was cutting the tree down or trimming, I never in a million years would have climbed out that far. But it's one of those things where if you trust your equipment and as long as you're being safe about it, it's fine.
So you are a professional in tree climbing. You can do this. So you use just the little equipment that you have for your feet, around your waist.
Yeah, the basic equipment that a normal tree climber at any tree service would use.
How did you get into that field, that profession, if you were afraid of heights? I couldn't do it. I'm terrified of heights.
I worked for a guy doing landscaping, and then one day the grass was too wet to cut, so he had me work with his tree crew. Well, at the time I was young and in really good shape, and me and my buddy both worked together. We were very competitive, and after we outworked all of his tree guys, he's like, you guys aren't landscapers anymore, you're gonna be tree guys. But then...
And now you're a cat rescuer, so how does this work? Will you go, when you get phone calls, are you getting them from all over Northeast Ohio?
All over the country.
Are you kidding me?
All over the country. There's times where people will see my information from other states and they'll call me. And the nice thing is there's actually a national directory where there's people all over the country, and all every different state there's people out there that they do the same thing I do, and they just go out and rescue cats.
Do you know how many at this point you've helped? It's only been a year's time frame.
More than 50, less than 100.
Wow. And then when you're up there in that moment and those cats, they have to be terrified. So
sometimes.
Is it easy to then wrangle them and get them in, or does that become a bit of a struggle because that would be, I would be on pins and needles watching this all happen.
You have 2 kinds of cats.
Mm-hmm.
You have the one kind of cat where as I'm going up, the cat's rubbing its head on the tree and it's meowing and it's just super happy to see me. They come right to me and it's great. And then there's the other kind of kitty, which is generally like your feral cats or just your cats that are just more skittish. No, they climb away, and then I climb out more, and then we play cat and mouse and we chase each other around. But thus far, every cat that I've tried to get down, inevitably either I got it down or it got down.
Okay.
One way or another.
Well, that's great news to
and
hear.
Safely
Safely is the best part. Okay, so how are people contacting you? Or is it through your Facebook?
All through Facebook.
Okay. And so, again, if they are in desperate need, say they see a cat up there in the middle of the afternoon, what's the time frame like? For you to be able to assist?
Now, I do have a family and a job. So for the most part, if I get a call, and as long as it doesn't sound like it's a dire emergency, I'll go after work.
Gotcha.
Sometimes if it is a dire emergency, sometimes I have left work early, and it is what it is. But the people I work with are very understanding.
And you're doing this on your own time right now. You're hoping though to turn this into a full-fledged nonprofit.
Yeah, at some point. I'm just there's steps I have to take in order to get to that point.
Okay, so Treetop Cat Rescue is what they can look up on Facebook to find you, correct? And Angela, you are a gem. That is so wonderful what you are doing. And I know there's so many people who, when they're put in this situation now, they know who to call, because again, sometimes the people they would normally call can't get someone out there. So
Yeah, and it's nothing against the fire department because they're all a bunch of heroes, but it's
Absolutely.
just they don't have the time and the resources. If they're out saving a cat and then there's a fire, you know what I mean? It's an issue. So
well, thank
somebody
you for
else
what
has
you
to
do.
do it.
Thank you for getting over your fear and saving these little angels' lives. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming in
Absolutely.
today.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, still to come, the countdown.